Hey, what's up guys? Sir Emanon here, and welcome to another feature match commentary on the channel today. So this is going to be another round 1 feature match in my online Discord tournament. If you guys do want to play in future iterations of this tournament, definitely go ahead and check out the link to the Discord in the description box below as usual. But this is going to be a match between Doctor Who on Ancient Warriors versus There Can Be Only Fun on Dogmatika Zoodiac Eldlich. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started here. So it looks like Ancient Warriors won the RPS, and they're going to opt to start. And so I'm probably going to read these cards since I assume that the majority of you guys aren't familiar with the archetype. But the opening hand for Ancient Warriors is going to be Valiant Zhang Day, Pot of Prosperity, 3 Visits, Borrowing of Arrows, and Masterful Sun Mu. So Valiant Zhang Day says, gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls during your turn only. You can only use each of the following effects of Ancient Warriors Valiant Zhang Day once per turn. If you control 2 or more Ancient Warriors monsters, you can special this card from your hand. And if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can activate this effect. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. So this card is basically an extender if you already have an established board and helps you be more aggressive going second. 3 Visits is a continuous spell that says, during your main phase, if you normal or special summon an Ancient Warrior monster, you can target one of those monsters and add an Ancient Warrior monster with a different name for your deck to your hand. If this card is sent from the Spell and Trap Zone to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Ancient Warrior monster from your hand, and you can only use each effect of this card once per turn. And also send this card to the graveyard during your second standby phase after activation. So this card is basically a Rhoda, so I assume this is a card you would max out on. It gets you continued advantage, and also lets you extend further if you send it to the graveyard, which I know that the archetype has some mechanisms of doing. Borrowing of Arrows is another continuous spell that says you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls and 1 Ancient Warrior monster you control. Until the end of this turn, have that monster's opponent's attack, and if you do, add that lost attack to your monster even if this card leaves the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard while you control Ancient Warrior monsters with 2 or more different attributes, you can place 1 Ancient Warrior's continuous spell or trap from your hand or deck face-up on your field, except another copy of itself, and you can only use each effect of Borrowing of Arrows once per turn. And then Masterful Sun Mu says, while you control another Ancient Warrior monsters, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks. You can only use each of the following effects of Sun Mu once per turn. You can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, which can include these to proc their effects. You can add an Ancient Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of itself. And if your other Ancient Warrior's monster's effect is activated, except during the damage step, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So lots of reading here. These cards actually have fairly long text, so that was already like 2.5 minutes. But this is a pretty good hand from what I could tell. It has 2 of the Rhoda cards, and of course Prosperity to help fix it if needed. And then the opening hand for Dogmatika Zoodiac Eldlich is going to be Tanky, Ariel, Thoroughblade, Torrential Turbo, and Nadir Servant. Not going to have to read these cards, fortunately. But we're going to move to main phase 1 here. They're going to start up with a Pot of Prosperity. That's going to banish, looks like, just 3. Revealing Imperial Order, another 3 Visits, and Rebellious Lu Feng. So this one cannot be normal to set. Must be special summoned from your hand by controlling the highest attack Ancient Warriors monster on the field, even if it's tied. I like how it insinuates that there's going to be an Ancient Warriors mirror match, which I guess could happen. But you can only special summon Rebellious Lu Feng once per turn this way. Once per turn during the main phase, as a quick effect, you can destroy the 1 face-up monster your opponent controls with the highest attack, your choice if tied. Also, you cannot activate monster effects the turn you activate this effect, except Ancient Warrior monsters. Once per turn during the end phase, if your opponent controls a monster with the highest attack on the field, even if tied, give control of this card to your opponent. Pretty interesting. It's like another body that you can link away with if needed, if you don't want to give it to your opponent during the end phase. But they're going to take order, so this hand definitely is strong enough as is. They're going to activate 3 Visits, and then go ahead and normal summon the Masterful Sun Mu, which triggers the 3 Visits to grab a search. So that's going to grab Ingenious Zhuge Kong, which says, if this card is added from the deck to your hand by the effect of an Ancient Warriors card, you could special summon this card, and when a Spell or Trap card is activated as a quick effect, you can send 1 face-up Ancient Warriors continuous Spell or Trap to the grave, negate the activation, so another way to use these effects. And then also, while a monster effect is activated while you control an Ancient Warriors Virtuous Lu Xuan, as a quick effect, you can send 1 face-up Ancient Warriors continuous Spell or Trap card to the graveyard, negate the activation, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So pretty interesting for sure. This one is a lot easier to activate the Spell and Trap negation. But that's a free body, so this is going to activate the special itself. And then going to use the Masterful Sun Mu since another Ancient Warriors effect is activated. It doesn't have to be on the field. Oh, never mind. I lied. He's using the other effect. Using the effect to go ahead and send 1 to grab a search. So that's going to send the Borrowing of Arrows to grab the Rebellious Liu Feng. And then going to activate the Valiant Zhang since there's 2 of them on the field. So that's going to special itself. And oh, just kidding. Before that, effect of the arrows and grave. So this doesn't have to be sent from the field. It's just when it's sent to the grave. So you could place an Ancient Warrior spell or trap from your deck face up. So we're going to set up the Chivalrous Path, which says if an Ancient Warrior's monster would be destroyed by battle, you can send this card to the graveyard instead. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If your opponent special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 Ancient Warrior's token, Beast Warrior, Wind, level 1 attack, and defense 500. When a card or effect is activated that targets an Ancient Warrior monster in the field, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the activation. So I guess it's just another name, which has a graveyard effect that could be relevant. But yeah, now we're going to go for the Valiant Zhang, and then special summon it to the field, and then going to link summon for a copy of the Double Dragon Lords. You guys probably know this card from Bird Up, but this also has an effect where it gives your Ancient Warriors attack, and also it lets you add an Ancient Warriors card from your deck to your hand on link summon as well, in addition to, of course, the bouncing effect. So going to grab a copy of Fearsome Zhang Zhuan. So this card says all other Ancient Warrior monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. At the start of the damage step, when your Ancient Warriors monster battles an opponent's face-up monster, you can special this card from your hand, and if you do, that opponent's monster loses 1,000. If a card your opponent controls is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. This is a lot of reading. It's like 7 minutes into the video, and I've only done reading pretty much. So that's going to be added to hand, and then Rebellious Liu Feng gets specialed, because of course he controls the Ancient Warriors with the highest attack. And then going to set Imperial Order, and then pass. So we have a bounce, we have a Imperial Order, and we have, let's see, a pop. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing here. We also have a bounce if either of these get activated as well. So this is potentially 3 interruptions plus order. Definitely not bad. All right. And we get a token as well, potentially. All right, so the top deck is going to be Scarlet. Jeez, that was so much reading. All right, going to go for Therablade as a normal summon. And then on summon, going to activate Rebellious Liu Feng. That's going to pop the Therablade. And then going to set 2 and then pass. Yeah, they know about the Imperial Order because it was grabbed off of Prosperity, so that's why they're not activating these spell cards. But yeah, going to set 2 and pass. For turn, the top deck is going to be tanky because these are also Beast Warriors. Going to place a counter for 3 visits since, of course, has a, not really a maintenance cost, but it sends itself. We're going to activate tanky next, so it's going to grab a search for a Virtuous Liu Xuan. This card says, while you control another Ancient Warriors monster, your opponent's monsters cannot target this card for attacks, so same as the Sun Mu. And then you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, special summon 1 Ancient Warriors monster from your deck, except another copy of itself. And then when an attack is occurred involving another Ancient Warriors monster you control, you can draw 1 card. So they're going to normal summon the Virtuous Liu Xuan and then trigger the 3 visits. That's going to grab a different name. So they're going to grab Ingenious Zhuge Kong. So this is the one that specials itself when it gets added and also gets the bonus effect when the Liu Xuan is on the board to negate monster effects as well. So yeah, that gets added and then it specials itself via its own effect. And then, okay, they're thinking here. All right, looks like that's just going to be the end of game 1. Fair enough. I mean, they're definitely, yeah, because this was going to hit the board, the Torrential was just going to be negated for sure. So yeah, fair enough. So that's going to be the end of game 1 here. Now moving into game 2. Hopefully we can go a little bit faster now that we know some of these cards. But looks like Zoodiac Eldlich Dogmatika is going to go first. If you guys are enjoying this video, definitely be sure to like the video and subscribe if you're new here and want to see more commentary similar to this style. But the opening hand is going to be for Dogmatika Zoodiac Eldlich, Schism, Ram Judgment, Eldland, and the Torrential Tribute. So definitely a solid hand for sure. Has a Zoo plus Curse Eldland, which is always a combo you want to see, plus a solid trap lineup. And then the opening hand for Ancient Warriors is going to be Rebellious Liu Feng, 3 visits, Loyal Guan Yun, which we're going to have to read, Royal Decree, and Pot of Prosperity. So this is the one that like people were saying is gonna be similar to Pankratops, but if your only opponent controls a monster, you can special this card from your hand, and your opponent cannot target other Ancient Warrior monsters you control with card effects. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. And you're gonna use this effect of Loyal Guan Yu once per turn. So it's like a go second card. Road Decree is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if it has like native synergy with the deck. Obviously, there's focus on continuous spells or traps, so Floodgates are probably good. But this is a pretty interesting choice. But they're going to start with a normal summon of Zoodiac Ram, and then go for Tiger Mortar, and then Borbo, and then Trident. And then they're going to set to activate Cursed Eldland, pay 100 to search a copy of Conquistador. And then they're going to set it. And then the end phase, they're going to pop their own Cursed Eldland to set a copy of Scarlet after sending the Conquistador. So pretty decent. Probably shouldn't have set these cards before the Cursed Eldland, because now he knows where the Conquistador is. But regardless, that's going to be a pass. The top deck is going to be Ingenious Zhuge Kong. So first, we're going to activate the Pot of Prosperity. That's going to banish 3, revealing Skill Drain, Sun Mu, and 3 visits. So they're going to take the Sun Mu here, and putting the rest back to the bottom. Then they're going to activate Loyal Guan Yun to special itself from the hand. And then on summon, Dryden's going to pop it. Obviously, you're going to have to do that right here. And then going to go for 3 visits. And then that's going to be negated by Judgment. So really trying to prevent the advantage generation this card provides, which is fair. And then, yeah, 3 visits does not activate here because it was not sent from the spell and trap zone since it was negated. Gonna normal summon the Masterful Sun Mu, and then on summon, gonna activate Scarlet to summon out Golden Lord from the deck. And then going to activate Conquistador to go and pop the Sun Mu. And then going to set Royal Decree and pass. The top deck is going to be Torrential Tribute. They're going to link away the Conquistador for a copy of Link Spider. And then go for Hammer Kong. And then Shakanine. And then switch the Lord to attack position. And then go for Battle Phase. Going to attack for 0, 25, and 1000. And then going to go to main phase 2. Looks like they're thinking a bit. Gonna summon a Zeus on top of the Shakanine and then set Torrential. And then end phase, gonna activate Scarlet and Conquistador to set another Conquistador in Scarlet. So this is looking pretty good for Zoodiac Eldlich. Not really any Dogmatika cards here. The top deck is gonna be another copy of Rebellious Lu Feng. So there's not really a whole ton of plays to be had here. Gonna normal summon the Zhuge Kong. And then going to go for Lu Feng. And then on summon, gonna activate Conquistador. Probably gonna Royal Decree that. And then in response to the decree, gonna go for the Zeus. And then in response to that, going to activate Lu Feng. So that's gonna pop the Zeus. So the entire board's gonna get wiped here. Okay, chooses not to. Activate the Scarlet there. And then gonna pass. For the top deck is gonna be Judgment. You're going to set Schism and then activate Lord to summon itself. And then going to go for 3,500 damage and then set the Solemn Judgment. This is definitely a game for sure. End phase, going to banish both of the Golden Lands to set Walkero and Scarlet. And then going to pass. The top deck is going to be Harpy's Feather Duster, which is pretty good, but this card isn't going to help alleviate things. So that's just going to be game next turn. Yeah, so moving now on to game 3. That was a pretty interesting back and forth there, but looks like Ancient Warriors is going to start things off in game 3. And before we get started, just want to quickly shout out my patrons as usual. If you guys are interested in supporting the Patreon, definitely check out the description box below. But I want to thank you guys for your support because the long form and consistent content is made possible thanks to you guys. But in game 3 here, Ancient Warriors is going to start things off, and their opening hand is going to be double copies of Valiant Zhang Day, Rebellious Lu Feng, Tanky, and the East by South Winds. We're going to have to read this one. You must send this card to the graveyard during your second standby phase after activation. Once returned during your main phase, toss a coin, and if the result is heads, send this card to the graveyard. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can activate this effect. This turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your Ancient Warriors cards and effects. Also, until the end of this turn, all Ancient Warriors effective monsters you currently control gain this effect. When this card declares an attack, you can destroy one card your opponent controls. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. And then the opening hand for Dogmatika Zoodiac Eldlich is going to be Punishment, Nibiru, Fleur-de-Lis, Droll, and Ram. So not a bad hand for sure. I think both players open up pretty well. Hard to say though. Gonna activate the South Winds, and then going to activate the effect, flipping a coin, going to be Tails, so it doesn't actually send itself to the graveyard here. Gonna activate Tenki next, that's gonna grab Sun Mu, and then gonna activate Droll and Resolution. And then going to go Sun Mu into Rebellious Lu Feng. And then gonna activate Xiaoling Day to special itself. And then going to Link Summon for a copy of Double Dragon Lords. And then pass. So we have a pop and we have a bounce. And this can send away any card, right? Yeah, so this can send away the Tenki for free, which is pretty good. Get top deck another copy of Droll. They're just gonna set punishment and pass, because obviously their Zoo's gonna die to the Lu Feng. They could have possibly gone for Fleur-de-Lis to try and attack over it, but I mean that would have also gotten popped, and then this would have gotten bounced by the Double Dragon Lords. So yeah, probably not much of a point. Top deck is gonna be Royal Decree again. Pretty interesting. Gonna set it and then switch the Lu Feng to attack position, and then attack for a fair amount of damage. This is gonna be 39 plus 200 to 41, I think. Gonna activate Punishment, though, in the battle phase. That's going to pop the Double Dragon Lords. Going to send to Tentaclad. And then gonna attack for 29. And then end phase, gonna activate... Oh! Did they forget to use Tentaclad? Oh, no. Oh, okay, yeah, so they forgot and clicked next turn. Looks like he's allowing it. So, yeah, gonna... add Ecclesia instead of summoning her. Pretty interesting. But yeah, gonna go to main phase. Gonna normal summon the Ecclesia. And then grab a copy of Maximus. And then gonna banish Tentaclad for the Maximus. You definitely go for Lu Feng here. Because it's your choice if tied. So that's pretty good. Making sure they're both at 15. And then... like I says, that has an effect because I thought that that's what he was playing around. Because that happened game one. Game one, this popped the Third Blade, if I'm not mistaken. But he's gonna set Torrential and then pass. And if turning the top deck is gonna be Sun Mu, that's definitely good. I believe the South Winds is sent to the graveyard here, but it looks like they forgot. But yeah, that definitely could matter. But we'll see. Rebellious Lu Feng is gonna pop the Ecclesia. And then going to normal summon the Sun Mu, and then that gets torrentialed. And that's going to be Royal Decree. Royal Decree coming in here. Pretty interesting, I will say. Going to go for the Valiant Xiaoling Day next, and this is definitely just game on board. Yeah, going to go to battle phase, and that is the end of the game. So, fascinating for sure. This deck seems to just be a bit of a beatdown deck with a couple of interruptions thrown in here. Lu Feng's pretty cool with Double Dragon Lords, and then like you have the other cards that are a bit more conditional as disruptions. But yeah, it was cool to see this deck in action. He wanted to see this deck feature on the channel, so there you go. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the reading portions of this video, which took up the majority of it. I'm surprised this video is actually still under 20 minutes. But that's going to be it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like as well as any thoughts or feedback in the comments. Subscribe for more informative and competitive Yu-Gi-Oh content. If you want to, you can follow me on all social media platforms or support me with the links in the description box below as usual. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.